Good morning, folks. This is Chris Schaefer with Ex Nihilo Enterprises, and today I'm going to be reassembling the Type 3 automatic starter for my 1972 Type 3 Fastback. So I cleaned all of the pieces and then painted them. I used three different colors of Cerakote, bronze, I think they call it titanium, and then a black here. I've got all the parts ready to reassemble. Let me get set up here on my fancy plastic crate. So, the biggest thing is don't be a dummy like me. When I was attempting to disassemble the original solenoid, I was a dummy and did not realize that this is soldered in place. I did switch over this retainer and spring here. That is what helps snap in this yoke there. So, starting off, we have to put this here. Then we have to make sure that the bushings here are compressed. I'm going to use a screwdriver to help push those in and seat them down over the coil there. Just pressure and pushing down. Be really great with more than two hands, but this is what we got. With that in place, get that fully seated. Then we will take our pieces that slip in here. And locate those in place. Then we'll go ahead and make sure we are getting this lined up properly. You can see we have the plug there. So that comes in like so and is rotated until that fits up into place like that. We have our washers and a circlip. Then we can lower into place the top and finger tighten our screws. Make sure that the holes are lined up. Which can be a tricky process because you have internal parts shifting and all that jazz. I went with Cerakote instead of a normal high temp paint for the extra chemical resistance. This is the Air Cured or the C series from Cerakote. So that I've let all these parts dry at least 48 hours before assembling. Now that we have the top portion assembled, we will index our main sleeve. And make sure you're putting it on the right way with the lettering facing up. Wiggle that on and rotate it to index. Gently push until seated. Don't pinch your fingers like I just did. And then there's a bit of rotation and juggling. I'm going to use the the screwdriver to help get this settled where it needs to be able to get the first screw in. Just getting them started and working on getting everything into position. Move over to the next one. Wiggle it around just a little bit. Firmly into place. Get this screw started. So, next we place the yoke in position. Setting it here, we will then make sure that we have this indexed properly. Set down. And now we have to place these two pieces. Which are seals. There. So now helps if you put the seal in the right orientation. You gotta turn it around. That work that down into position. I had it the right way the first time. Never mind. All of the glorious unedited work. One day I hope to be able to have an editor, but right now, just starting out, it's just me and you and the camera. Then you have to index and place this screw. Pull that yoke down a little bit. Get that nail up enough. issues with this. Lining up. But at least I shouldn't have any leftover parts. It's funny how it can be so difficult to just get something started. Kind of fits a lot about life in there too. Have you guys ever read Zen and the Motorcycle Maintenance? I'm sure I'm butchering that book title. I haven't yet, but I've heard good things. It's been recommended to me multiple times. And I might need to get it. Okay, we're going to use Bambi to make sure that the table doesn't get any more scuffed up than it already is. It's still not grabbing. So I'm not sure what's going on. What is it? Or does that just thread down way longer than I thought? Might not need to have a spring and a retainer on this. This was on the old one, but it might not be necessary on the new one. So I'll pull that off and give it another try. I would think that these would both be identical, but I've been wrong before. Let's try switching them and see what happens. Apparently, all it took was switching them up. There must be something with the threads and the tip of the bolt that is keeping them apart. So just note, taking these apart, if one doesn't work on one side, switch them. Those are nice and snug. We will address this. Got it hooked on. And now, figure out getting this set. There's a small chance, excuse me while I'm moving here, there's a small chance that this starter isn't correct, but all the measurements and stuff looked good. So now I've just got to get this pinned in place. And thankfully, it's just a nice little 10mm. Attaches quite nicely. It appears that I'm going to have to take that off. And wrestle a little bit with that starter. Unfortunately, the solenoid is not wanting to fit. So now that is out of the way, I can use this to lift up the solenoid piece. Make sure that the holes line up. Put that in. Down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get these two pieces just started a smidge, a skosh, if you will. Not sure if a skosh is an illicit measurement of anything. I hope not. Don't do drugs, kids. Stay in school. I'm just going to use that to pull it down for us. I'm going to be trying to have more regular content getting posted. Barely started. go. Just need to get twisted a little bit. Now I've got that clamping coming down. Now is the fun part. To try. There we go. 10mm coming through. Just gotta make sure it's actually going through like it's supposed to. It is. Connect to this side to make sure it's aligned the way it needs to be. Back on with our handy dandy 10mm. Now, before use, I will be getting a set with washers, or with grease rather, to be able to make sure that everything is set and working right. So I'm actually going to have to loosen these so I can raise that up. So my screwdriver just slipped. There's a little bit of a scratch, but it doesn't even go all the way through the Cerakote. So I've got to loosen this up a little bit. So then I can lift up this entire piece. So I'm just a tiny bit short of getting that up and onto the post like it's supposed to be. So by loosening those screws just a little bit, I should be able to move that up. Get that up and over. Put that back on there. Attach those. There's always a little bit of dread at having some of the pieces left over, but these two pieces were the screws that were there and there. So that is what it looks like when you rip these apart. You shouldn't do that. I am going to see if I can replace these. No, I'm just going to leave that starter alone. So here it is. I need to wipe off a little bit of grease, but other than that, and where my son decided to grab the piece I just painted, there is a rebuilt and Cerakoted Type 3 automatic starter. This is Chris Schaefer with Ex Nihilo Enterprises. Please give me a like and a subscribe if you like any of the content. Like I said before, I hope to have there be a little bit more of the content coming regularly. I'm going to be doing some more with the Texas Mountain Laurels, trying to get some oaks started, and keep on working on the Type 3. God bless you. Have a happy new year. Adios.